Okay. So obviously there's a lot going on in the world. And so this seemed like the perfect time for me to, one, introduce myself or reintroduce myself, as well as to share with you all some of the offerings, or as I call them, honorings, that I have available to assist those who are in the place that they want to receive a benefit from these honorings. Now, my name is Tisha Hillman. If you're not familiar with me, I am, for the last 12 years, I am many things, right? But for the last 12 years, I have been practicing law in Maryland, and I've had my own law practice. It just got an alert, so it just zoomed out a little bit, but have my own law practice. So y'all hear my dog Oreo. He's very excited. It's probably cats. He's looking out the door, so it's probably cats downstairs. But anyway, so over the last 12 years, oh, it's like, listen, I like if y'all ever go to my YouTube channel, I talk, right? Um, and I don't want to make this, and I always say this because my intention is never to make the videos longer than they need to be, but things need to be said, right? And it's amazing when I look back and I look at these things and I'm like, it's really been a full zodiac cycle that I have, um, that I have been practicing, practicing law. Well, I was practicing full time, and I have not been practicing what is normally considered full time for a bit now, maybe for about a year or so. I haven't been practicing full time. And so now I'm just taking cases as I decide that, I want to, give my energy to it. If it's a specific, person that I want to assist, or particular issue that I want to get behind, or whatever the case. Um, but in the last 5 years, I've also had a wellness company that I started in 2020 that's called Conscious Creations. And I do all sorts of things because all this whole path for me, y'all, has been now I see it more clearly. It has been truly for such a time as this. So, I create products for wellness, including metaphysical tools, right? Spiritual tools for your protection, spiritual tools for increasing and enhancing your aura, right? Strengthening your aura, aligning your chakras, all the things. Because one of the things is very, very clear, that most of us, if you are in this frequency, that you know for sure, is that we are spiritual beings first, right? We're spiritual beings first. And now that more of us are aware of that, it is necessary that we have the tools that we need, not only in the spiritual realm and not only for our spiritual wellness, but also physically as well. And that means on every level when it comes to these physical things. And that's also one of the things that I do, but they're all interrelated, because it all comes down to what it is that I'm presenting to you all today, which is a new cohort that I've created that is called, Rewriting Your Internal Constitution and Your Bill of Rights. In addition, it includes something for war powers, right? All of the things, because I want to be clear. You are the government. Govern your mental. You are that. Govern your mental. And so it's very important right now that you govern your mental. As a matter of fact, it was sometime last year, that I was called to a particular river. Well, I've spoken about it. So I was called to the Susquehanna River, which interestingly enough is 444 miles long exactly. And at a part of this river, I came across different herbs and things like that. And so I harvested goldenrod. And then from that goldenrod, I made a tincture. And that tincture is called Venus, Love, Mars, Loves Venus. I know it's long. In short, goldenrod tincture, right? It's a goldenrod tincture. The reason that it's called Venus Love Mars Love Venus is because when it comes to Venus, if you are into, if you vibing with this, you already know what I'm talking about. But if you're not, if this is information is new to you, Venus is the planet of love. Mars is the planet of war. But all of the planets exist within us, right? So Venus is about how we love. Mars is about how we fight, how we go to war. And so again, here, we find ourselves here in the global arena, right? Where these folks got their thing going on. But I made a tincture, right? I was called to do this and I did that, right? I made a tincture. And the reason it's called Venus Love Mars Love Venus is because at the end of the day, the only thing between us is love. The only thing between us is love. Now, I make small batches, y'all. So I only have, I think it's like 18 left. So you can go to my website at consciouscreations.live and pick up the goldenrod tincture. It's available. I think it's $21. So you can go to my website, order that. Now, here's the thing about it. When we experience these conflicts within, you understand, as within, so without. So when we experience these conflicts, they can make our body feel inflamed. Do you see what I'm saying? And so that inflames the internal tensions, which then in turn make it easier for you to get into external tensions with other people. But sometimes you really just gotta, you gotta take that new addition and cool it down and cool it now, right? That too. So in doing that, this is what goldenrod actually does. It helps to reduce inflammation, but on an energetic level and on a conscious level, because it was consciously created and it was created, I think it was created, I gotta look, but I think this particular batch was created when the moon was in Libra. Again, conscious creation, you understand? And it was charged by the light of the full moon. You understand? So this is very intentional. So if you find yourself right now in these days and times that you need to balance that love and that war within you, go to consciouscreations.live and pick up the goldenrod tincture. Okay. Now, on to what I was going to introduce you all to when it comes to rewriting your internal constitution. The reason this is important is because, like I said, most people, you've been living under laws and rules and governing principles that you didn't write. That actually, at the time they were written, some of us were considered to be property. You understand? So they were not actually done with your well-being. They weren't written with your well-being in mind. You see what I'm saying? And these laws are about money. Laws are about pleasure, visibility, rest, comfort, worth. And like I said, all these things have been quietly governing the masses. And most people believe that they're struggling with discipline or confidence or even consistency. But the truth of the matter is most people are actually struggling with governance. And this is why if you take a look at my social media, like I govern your mental, right? You are the body of Congress. You understand? You are that. Something came to me today when I was doing my walking meditation. And so, I'm walking along and walking Oreo. And, and I was thinking the two become one, right? Because I'm thinking about with legs, right? You're walking along, you have your legs, you got your upper body, your two legs, the energy that you're moving, and lifting, whatever the case may be, all of the different things that you got to do with the two feet and the two this and the two that and the two that, it come into one, that core center, right? And then coming up, up the center column of the body, up into your head, your ori, you understand, right? Your aura. And so the two becoming one, even the two arms, the two hands, the two to titties, right? The two, everything, the two becoming one. You understand? And so this is about holy matrimony, which is also a tea that I have available on. I didn't make none of this stuff up, y'all. The also a tea that I have available on the website, on the Conscious Creations website, is called Holy Matrimony, right? And the reason that's important is because what is happening is the internal coherence between the polarities. So we're talking about the union of logic plus intuition, masculine plus feminine, internal and external, right? That is why it's important as the two become one that we operate, you understand, in holy matrimony, in unison, in union, right? To form a more sacred union, to form a, what is it? What's the terminology? A more perfect, right? To form a more perfect union. And the fact that we're talking about this right now, and there is, what is it? A full moon in Virgo, the planet the sign that people always talk about is about perfection, right? But Virgo, truthfully, and shout out to Solara. Solara Rises, Solara Speaks on YouTube, y'all, because she said something the other day that made so much sense to me. But she was talking about how Virgo, of course, people talk about perfection when it comes to Virgo, but Virgo is really the sign that is, when I think about like the scriptures, the author and perfecter of your faith, right? Because Virgo deals with I know I'm talking all over the place, y'all, but stay with me here, deals with the digestive system, right? And so the gut and brain barrier is a real thing, because what happens is the gut deals with digestion and processing. And so this is the thing when you've been governed by rules that are in opposite or opposed, if you may, to your own internal constitution. Because what that does is it creates a war within you. You understand? It makes you go to war against yourself. And this is why it's important to rewrite your constitution and your Bill of Rights so that you know where you stand, how you stand, who you stand with within yourself. You understand? So that regardless of what is happening external, that it does not make you go to war against you. You understand? Because it's always you against you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you don't have to war against yourself. Hence, the goldenrod tincture, because some of us have been in battle against ourselves for so long because you're trying to exist in a system and under a set of principles that are you know what I mean, that would otherwise leave you destitute and not give a single fuck about you, right? And you're somehow supposed to digest that in your Virgo, process that, and not be at war, right? Anyway, I digress, y'all. So I'm looking forward to this cohort. So I've done it in 2 sections, or not even 2 sections, but there's a 6-week cohort for those that just want to do 6 weeks. And there's a 13-week. Hi, Oreo. And there's a 13-week cohort for those that want to do that. But let me get back to, why this is important. Okay. So, because if your internal constitution says that rest must be earned, your nervous system will resist rest. So shout out to all of those of us who have been choosing rest, because you are what is healing the collective. It's your decision to govern your mental and to take back your power that has shifted the trajectory, right? It has shifted the consciousness of humanity. So also, if your constitution says that money is scarce, you will feel anxiety in the presence of abundance. You will feel anxiety at the thought of expansion, right? Because your constitution has not been, let me say it this way. Your operating system has not yet gotten the software update to accept, right, this new program. Because all of this is actually defragging and deprogramming your internal operating system and your internal governing structure, right? So you want to, this is why rewriting this Constitution is so important, because this is about you governing your mental. That, and your mental is not only your mind, but it's also your money, right? And when I say money, I'm not talking just about fiat currency, more so than that, way more than that. I'm talking about your energetic currency. I'm talking about the way you steward your energy, what you give your energy to, what you speak life into. You understand? Because you are that power. You are that. This is why these beings have needed your energy to sustain these systems, because you are the power source, right? You are that, right? And this, I know, so much, y'all, but I've been doing a lot behind the scenes. So I also wrote a book that's called the Chapter 13 Plan. And the subtitle is Spiritual Recovery, Reclamation, and Reorganization of My Divine Birthright from a Morally Bankrupt System. Now, in that book, I talk about the currency, the true currency that is pH balance, the true currency that is mitochondrial wellness, because the mitochondrial cells, the mitochondrial DNA, it literally is the power bank. It is the bank. You understand? It is the bank. This is why when folks find themselves depleted, right? Energetically, physically, financially, what happens is that actually destroys the mitochondrial DNA, and it robs you. It robs your bank. Do you understand what I'm saying? It robs your energy bank, right? So that other beings can then take advantage of your energy, because now they've robbed your bank. Do you understand? So, anyway, child, if your Constitution says visibility is unsafe, opportunity will feel threatening, your body enforces whatever law is written. And I mean written in your internal operating system, right? So if you think about it in terms of computer code, and if you think about it in terms of a binary computer code, now here's the thing, I'm not pretending to know anything about writing computer code, but what I am telling you is code is code, is code is code is code. So this is about decoding yourself and reconstituting yourself to an operating system that actually serves you, so that your body is following the written instructions that you have given it, because you've written a new constitution on your heart. You understand? And part of what we will do in these different cohorts is going through some of the different things that actually, like I said, with scarcity and poverty and, lack of pleasure and visibility and fears and all of these things, we will go over things like that to rewrite the code, to find out, okay, what is the bug in the system, right? And how do we debug this and rewrite the code so that when we reinstall the code, it installs a code that is not having you subsidize your own oppression. You understand? So that's what we're doing. And here's the truth. The unconscious constitution still governs. And this is why it's important to address that. And as you know, we are living in this time where things have been accelerated. So a lot of people are feeling like the veil is gone, right? And I think we could pretty much see that at this point. But the problem is, fear is profitable. Noise is constant, information is relentless, and fear is profitable, as you see. So if you do not have an internal constitution, you will be governed by the loudest algorithm. That is the truth. If you look at social media and you look at all of the things that you can get pulled into on social media, and I'm not exempt from this, right? It's just that I've had to the things that I'm talking to you all about are the very things that I've had to do in order to hold these positions and hold this energy, in order to bring this to you, with any sort of integrity. You get what I'm saying? So, please know this cohort is not about affirmations, although we may affirm some things. It's not about hype, even though we want to hype you up. And it's not about motivation, because even though I put motivation in your speakers, I'm not here to motivate. I state realities. I state facts, right? It is what it is. And so this is about authorship, right? Because taking the pen and rewriting your story so that you are not the pawn in someone else's story, that's where we are in this thing. You are taking the pen to rewrite, or to write for the first time, your own story. It's about drafting a bill of rights that defines what you are available for, what you are no longer available for, how your energy is allocated, how your pleasure is protected, and how your revenue is internal. And that brings me to another product at Conscious Creations that is called My Revenue is Internal. That is actually a lymphatic drainage and massage oil that I made some time ago that includes such things as juniper oil, juniper berries, beetroot, ginger root, all sorts of different oils, roots, things like that, that serve to actually, it is a massage oil. And so generally what I do is, it's a whole, first of all, it comes with like step-by-step. This is, like how to do it, whatever. But I usually put it at the places where the lymphatic fluid actually drains, which is generally like the back of the neck, under the arms, and the breast, right? And at the back of the knees, bottoms of the feet, things like that. And so it acts as a massage oil, but also a reminder that your revenue is internal. Always has been, always will be. Know that. Okay. So when you define your rights, you stop negotiating them daily. Because every single day, every day, there's opportunities to negotiate with something, someone about who you are, what you stand for, what you believe, and your daily constitution. You understand what is going to govern you every single day. And so you want to really look at that, and having that actually written down. That's why that's done, right? Because what it does when it's written, not just on the tablet of your heart, but when it's actually written, down, right? What did I say? What did the good sis Erykah Badu say, right? You watch it down, you write it down with like real pen, real paper, and watch it become very real. Do you understand? And that is why I wrote the book, The Chapter 13 Plan. Because in that, I talk about how all of these systems are controlled by spelling. It's spell work. It's all spell work, right? So, when folks are in these, debates about religion, all these, it's all spell work, right? It just depends on who's spelling who and who's accepting. You know what I mean? Like, what is the projection that you're accepting based on what someone is calling you? So if someone is referring to you as a debtor, and you are like, I don't have a debt. I don't owe you a debt. What are we talking about? Right? And so it's not accepting these different projections that people want to give you. Because for so long, what has happened is these beings who did not want to take accountability for their own karmas, what they did is they passed it on to other people through the financial system, through religious structures, through all of these different things, through laws, right? They got people to accept their charges, if you may, right? And their karmas, which is why people kept going in these loops and cycles from generation to generation, because they were transferring their generational fucked upness onto other people, and had other people living out their karmas and their debts, paying their debts, if you may. But the debts are due. You understand? So that's where we are. And so now as you're seeing that play out, now these folks are realizing, oh shit, we can't do that no more. Right? They woke up. We can't do that anymore. You understand? So that's what you're seeing. That is what you are seeing. So this isn't about reinvention. I mean, you can reinvent yourself if you choose, right? Who says you can't? But it's more about reconstituting yourself and restoring yourself to your original potency, who you were before you were made to believe that you were less than who the fuck you are. You understand? So, I want to make sure I say everything. Make sure I tell y'all. Okay. All right. So again, no more operating under outdated legislation. That's legislation that's written in scarcity, survival, childhood traumas, crisis, and that legislation that is still running, right? So when you want to change your legislation, move them legs. Leg is in the word, right? Move them legs. Raise your legs, right? I know I should say that differently, but you know what I mean? Like, do your squats, work out. Do you see what I'm saying? Rebuild your legislation from a different perspective. And we'll go over these things in the cohort and go over some of the different things that you can do and ways that you can restructure, literally. So like you're doing this restructurization. It's a systematic and intentional restructuring, okay, of your own internal governance system, now that you are not responsible for carrying the load of anyone else. Okay. All right. So we will establish internal sovereignty, recalibrate the nervous system, draft a living constitution, and stamp it with the seal of Ma'at, truth and balance. And then we will also learn how to operate from this new constitution. Now, again, this is for those that are ready to stop negotiating their worth. Because when I tell y'all that this has been a journey, and so I am just pouring into you all and sharing with you all the things, right, that I have come to know throughout this journey, right, that will help you to reclaim your internal sovereignty so that you can operate from a place of matured governance, a place of clarity. And that clarity is the power, right? And so if you are ready to step into your internal sovereignty, if you are ready to govern your mental and to become the president, to elect yourself as the president of these United States, you understand? Of these United States, of logic and intuition in holy matrimony in order to form a more perfect union, go to my website at www.thetishahillman.com and declare your jurisdiction. Because again, you are the original jurisdiction. I am original jurisdiction. And together we can rewrite our internal constitution. And so I am so looking forward to this, y'all. I am looking forward to seeing some of you, that decide that you want to do this. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So anyway, y'all go to the website, check it out. And if you're looking for Holy Matrimony tea, if you are looking for generational wellness tea, if you are looking for Venus, love Mars, love Venus, if you are looking for chakra alignment tuning forks, whatever, go to the website, www.consciouscreations.live. Find yourself whatever tools that you need to help you on your journey. Because guess what? You deserve to be loved well and well loved. And we got you. So, yes, until next time, y'all, I am Tisha Hillman. And I am so excited to be here. So excited to share this information with y'all, and I look forward to it. Love yourself well. You deserve it.